If you look closely, you'll notice that even though the Tab S9 Plus and the Tab S9 FE Plus look very similar, there are some incredibly meaningful differences for both average and power users. Neither of these tablets have the most powerful chips Samsung has put in a mobile device. That honor is currently reserved for the S24 Ultra and the rest of the S24 lineup with the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 chip. And at the same time, processing power is one meaningful differentiator between these two tablets, along with the display, the speakers, the camera, multitasking, and the stylus. Keep in mind that we have to take price into account because we're looking at $999 for the base Tab S9 Plus versus $549 for the FE Plus. And thank you to Best Buy for sponsoring a portion of this video. Now, I mentioned multitasking, which might be a little confusing because both tablets run the latest Android and One UI. And that means that you are technically getting all of the latest features like 3 tiled apps, pop-up windows, and then of course Dex, which is awesome. Essentially, Dex reboots the tablet and gives it an operating system that's very similar to a desktop OS. You're getting a taskbar, a desktop with icons, multiple windows, you can snap windows, and you can use a keyboard case to transform your tablet into more of a laptop replacement. But there is one important Dex feature that's only available on the Tab S9 Plus, and that's the ability to connect an external display and run a super capable dual display setup. The FE Plus version does not have this feature. You can, however, use either tablet as an additional display for your Windows laptop or desktop with Samsung's second screen, and I use this feature both in the office and when I travel. Now, looking at the displays, both are 12.4 inches and have the same aspect ratio of 16:10, which makes them great for watching content. But in terms of the actual specs, that's pretty much where the similarities end. The Tab S9 Plus has a dynamic AMOLED 2X display, which offers 120Hz adaptive refresh rate, a resolution of 1752 by 2800, and a pixel density of 266 pixels per inch. The Tab S9 FE Plus has an IPS LCD display, which offers a slower 90Hz adaptive refresh rate, a lower resolution of 1600 by 2560, and a lower pixel density of 243 pixels per inch. In terms of image quality, the FE Plus display is very good, and for the price, we're getting terrific image quality for watching video and for playing games. And while we're not getting 120Hz and the animations and scrollings are not as smooth as they are in the Tab S9 Plus, we are getting 90Hz, which is a step up from the previous FE model. Now, having said that, there's no question that the dynamic AMOLED 2X display on the flagship model is the superior display. Colors seem to pop off the screen, we're getting outstanding blacks, better contrast, and again, the UI animations and scrolling look smoother. Overall, I have to give the edge to the Tab S9 Plus, but I don't think that I would pay twice as much just for the display. As far as the overall design, the two tablets are very similar with a full aluminum frame and back. They have the same footprint, but the Tab S9 Plus is a bit thinner and lighter. I appreciate that Samsung was able to bring the IP68 rating down to the FE Plus version, giving both tablets protection from water and dust. This is really valuable if you take your tablet with you when you travel or if you take it to work, but it's also a great feature when you're just around the house and you have a dog that likes to clear everything off the table with her tail. Both tablets offer face recognition for biometric authentication and a more secure fingerprint sensor. With the Tab S9 Plus, we're getting an under-display sensor, and with the FE Plus, it's integrated into the power button. Now, both sensors have worked great for me, and they're super responsive and accurate, but I prefer the under-display version on the Tab S9 Plus because it's more organic to how I hold the tablet. Now, both tablets also have a micro SD card slot, so you can upgrade the internal storage by up to 1 terabyte, and you can use that storage for photos, for videos, files, and for most apps. Now, continuing to look around the edges, we're getting 4 AKG tuned speaker on the Tab S9 Plus versus 2 on the FE Plus, and the flagship model definitely has a more full sound. The audio seems warmer and has more presence to it, which makes it a better choice for watching content. Now, both tablets have a USB-C port for charging and connecting accessories, but we're looking at 3.2 on the Tab S9 Plus versus only 2.0 on the FE Plus. Now, depending on what type of games you play, you may or may not notice a difference. If you're just playing less demanding games, you can easily do that on both tablets. But as you start playing more resource-intensive games like Genshin Impact, COD Mobile, and PUBG, there's a noticeable difference in both processing power and GPU performance, which does have an impact on my gaming experience. I'll quickly cover benchmarks in the performance section, but there's no question that Qualcomm's Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 chip in the Tab S9 Plus is more capable than the Exynos 1380 and the FE Plus version. Starting with Genshin Impact, I was able to play it on both devices, but the game performed better on the Tab S9 Plus with smoother graphics and less lag because of the more capable processor and the additional RAM. When playing PUBG, gameplay was smoother and more responsive on the Tab S9 Plus, and I could play with graphics set to smooth and frame rate set to 90 FPS. I could also set graphics anywhere from balanced to HDR and frame rate set to extreme, or Ultra HD for graphics and Ultra for frame rate. With the FE Plus model, I was limited to high frame rate, whether graphics were set to smooth, balanced, or HD, and then, of course, since that was as good as it got, I could get nowhere near 90 FPS. If playing more demanding games is a priority for you, then we know that game developers are always going to push the CPU and GPU, and games are going to continue to evolve and demand more and more resources. When I look to keep a device for at least 4 to 5 years or even more, I'm always going to opt for the tablet that has better CPU and GPU performance than what I need now so that it continues to perform well in the future. Now, if you want to stream and play Xbox games with the Game Pass app, you can pair an Xbox controller with both tablets and have extremely smooth gameplay as long as you have a reliable internet connection, so you can't really go wrong here. And speaking of places where you can't go wrong, if you're looking for great deals on one of these tablets or just tech in general, check out today's sponsor Best Buy and their top deals. They have some amazing daily and weekly top deals with tons of categories to choose from laptops and computers, TVs and projectors, to small and major appliances, plus a lot more. Best Buy has great prices and a price match guarantee, and my Best Buy members get exclusive offers on thousands of products. Right now, you can save $1,600 off a 77-inch Samsung OLED TV. There are some great deals on both earbuds and over-the-ear headphones. You can pre-order the Samsung Galaxy S24 series and get up to $150 Best Buy e-gift card. And Best Buy also has some great discounts on gaming computers and accessories. So if you want to save some money on a gift or something for yourself, check out Best Buy's top deals, and thank you to Best Buy for sponsoring this portion of the video. Now back to the tablets. Another important factor for some users is the ability to expand the functionality of each tablet by adding a keyboard case and a stylus. Now both tablets are compatible with the same 2 versions of the book cover keyboard from Samsung, and of course, you can always use an external keyboard and mouse. Now, both tablets also come with a free S Pen, which can be stored on the side or on the back of the tablet, but only the Tab S9 Plus has a Bluetooth-enabled S Pen, which offers some wireless functionality for things like camera and media playback. Now, in terms of the actual writing or drawing experience, for most users, it's virtually identical, and neither requires a charge in order to write or draw. Looking at the camera systems, the Tab S9 Plus has a 13 megapixel wide and an 8 megapixel ultra wide versus 2 8 megapixel cameras on the Tab S9 FE Plus. Both tablets have a 12 megapixel selfie camera, and here's a short sample. Here's a camera and microphone test of the Tab S9 Plus. This should give you a pretty good idea of the type of image quality that you're going to get. Now the Tab S9 Plus looks a little overexposed for me. All I did was press record. I didn't change any of the settings. We quickly talked about performance in the gaming section, so let's look at the single and multi-core performance of the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 chip and the Exynos 1380, where we see the Snapdragon chip pull way ahead. We also see it score considerably higher in GPU performance, which helps explain some of the meaningful differences we saw when gaming. But I know that not everyone games, and these are just benchmarks. So what about typical average real-life use? Well, of course, you can surf the web, watch videos, videos or go on social media with both tablets. But essentially, in every aspect, the Tab S9 Plus feels snappier and more responsive. Even just navigating around the UI, opening and closing apps, you can notice a difference, and I would expect it to continue to perform better for longer. Now, power users who perform more demanding tasks like photo and video editing should definitely opt for the more capable Tab S9 Plus, but always keep in mind what you plan on doing so that you don't overpay for performance that you don't need. Now, as far as OS and security updates, Samsung promises 4 years of OS updates and 5 years of security updates, which is nice. And again, keep in mind the difference in performance if you plan on keeping your tablet for a while. In terms of battery life, both tablets have a 10,090 mAh battery, but Samsung rates the FE Plus model at 20 hours versus 16 hours on the Tab S9 Plus. Now that I have the entire Tab S9 and FE lineup, I'm finishing the edit of my battery test, so go ahead and subscribe to be notified when it's published. Now, both tablets offer 45-watt super fast charging, which gets you to 100% in about 90 minutes, but neither tablet ships with a charging adapter, so that's something that you'll need to get separately. Now, when we look at the configuration options, the Tab S9 Plus is available with 256 or 512 gigabytes of internal storage, and both models come with 12 gigabytes of RAM. The FE Plus model comes with 128 gigabytes of storage and 8 gigs of RAM, or 256 and 12. Now, of course, more RAM is always better, but your typical FE Plus user isn't a power user, so I would only upgrade the RAM if you also need the additional internal storage. Now, overall, it's clear that the Tab S9 Plus is the more powerful and capable tablet. Has a better display, a much more powerful chip with better CPU and GPU performance, more internal storage, better speakers, a better camera system, external display support, and a better S Pen. But at about half the price, the Tab S9 FE Plus is a very good value. If you don't need the best performance or the absolute best quality display, you're still getting the same size display, IP68 protection, and a lot of the same features with better battery life. Now you should check out this comparison. Hopefully this video was helpful. Click on my face to subscribe. You know what I always say, buy it nice or buy it twice. Good luck and see you soon.